No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Big Beer. I am the danger. Man walks into a bar, orders a BMC, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who brews.
Dude, calm down. Go clean the mash tun.
Okay. Sorry.
Love it.
So hey guys, we're back again for another episode of Beer Betties, and we're here at Rabbit Hole Brewery.
My name's Tom Anderson. I'm a founder, Rabbit Hole janitor, and the hatter.
My name's Laron. I am the founder, I am the truck driver, and I am the prophet.
My name's Matt Morris, founder, brewmaster, janitor.
Period.
Period.
They're kind of the new kids on the block, but they've been making a name for themselves already.
But don't worry, unlike the new kids on the block, they're not going to break out in song or do any kind of hard drugs. Instead, they're going to make delicious beer. So why don't you guys tell us, how did you get started? How did the brewery kind of come into fruition? Whose idea was it?
Well, you know, we've been friends for many years, and Tom and Matt have been brewing at home for almost 10 years, individually together. I tried to brew. I found out I'm much better at drinking it than I am at making it. So I just kind of jumped on these two guys' coattails and let them brew beer for me. But when we all decided one day that, you know, we were sitting around like three guys at a bar going, hey, we should open a bar, but we were sitting around going, hey, we should open up a brewery. We've been saying that for a while, and then finally Tom's wife walked in and says, just do it or shut up. So we did it.
Smart lady.
Be careful what you ask for.
Of the Rabbit Hole beers that are currently commercially available, we have two. A third one's coming out real soon. We have the Mike Madonna 561, which is our Kolsch, and we have Rapture, which is our Fusion Brown Ale. And it's kind of one of those, you know, how do you pick between your two favorite kids?
This is true.
And they're both fantastic beers, but they're both kind of the opposite ends of the beer consumer spectrum. Where the 561 is really geared towards the new people in the craft market, especially with having Mike Madonna on board. It's bringing a lot of the BMC drinkers over to try something, going, oh, you know, Mike has a beer, let's try his beer. So it was designed specifically to start getting some of the BMC drinkers to get into the craft beer world, where Rapture is designed primarily for people who already have a palate for something new, something unique.
Well, thank you.
But I think that if you were to walk in here and see me walking around the brewery with the beer, I would say probably about 65% of the time I'll have a Rapture, and the rest will be the 561. However, our next one coming out, the 10 and 6, is authentically different.
Really?
What's the style?
It is an English-style IPA.
Ooh.
So it's a nod back to the original.
Big IPA fans.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nod back to the original style when IPAs were born in England back in the 1800s. So it's not anything like what you have now. It's not the normal IPA that you see on the wall with the American IPA. This has all English ingredients and English hops, and it's just a fantastic beer.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to try that. Yeah. Well, okay, how about you tell us a little bit about Mike Madonna? I know he's related to the brewery. He's got his own beer. Tell us how that works. How did Mike Madonna get involved in the brewery?
Well, we had an opportunity about 4 years ago as a homebrew club to brew a beer for the famous mineral water company of Mineral Wells. And turns out that she knows Mike Madonna, and so off the cuff I kind of tongue-in-cheek said, next time you see Mike, find out what his favorite beers are, because I was like, hey, I'm gonna brew him a beer. She comes back 10 minutes later and says, his favorite beers are this. Tell Mike through her that I want to do a beer for him. He says, I'm excited. When's it going to be ready? At this point, I had brewed 0 gallons of this. So it was at that point that I basically got to work on something and started iterating on a recipe. Got a chance to go and take it to his retirement, which he really liked it, and talked about it to other people quite a bit. And so when we started Rabbit Hole, we all kind of powwowed together and said, you know, this doesn't make or break a business plan. We can't guarantee a celebrity endorsement if we're going to have a solid company, but we lose nothing by asking if he wants to be involved.
Yeah.
So we met with him, and it turns out that he really truly likes endorsing things that are local and that he likes.
That's awesome.
So why you don't see him around on everything in Dallas-Fort Worth is because he really picks and chooses the things that he wants to be a part of. And so we're kind of honored that he chose that.
And he's also part of the ownership group of the brewery. He does have a stake in the brewery. He helped design the recipe, and he actually came up with the name that we're currently using. So he's been very involved.
That's awesome.
One of the other neat things is when he goes out to a restaurant, simply being Mike Madonna, normally the manager ends up at his table to shake his hand or whatever. And it's gotten to where Mike will now go out to a restaurant and eat, and when the manager comes up, the first question is, why don't you have my beer on tap? So usually the next day I get a phone call, hey, I'm the manager of this bar, and I think I need some of Mike's beer. So not only is he part of the ownership group, he designed the beer, helped design the beer and helped name it. Now he's actually part of our sales team as well, and he's pushing our beer almost every time he goes out.
Yeah, and for the viewers who are not from Texas, I guess explain 561, why that has to do with Mike Madonna.
561 is the number of goals that Mike scored in his career, which is a record for U.S.-born hockey players. The old record was 502, so he's way, way beyond 502. And the next closest active player, I think they said they need 40 goals a year for like the next 6 or 7 years to even get within that.
Wow.
So it's a record that is not currently anywhere in jeopardy of being broken.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite part about being a full-time brewer now?
Drinking.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a duh question.
A lot of it's just being able to come in and make beer.
Yeah.
Making beer was a hobby of ours for mine anyway, for 10 years. Now I get to do it for a living, and what can be better than that?
Exactly.
Except drinking it.
Drinking it, yeah.
Drinking it can be better than that,
People
but I was
say
doing
we have
that
the
for a while
best
too.
job, and they're right, because every morning I do get to come in and sample what's in the fermenter. Make sure, make sure
Quality
make sure-
check.
Make sure it's going all right. Make sure it's not going to be something we're going to have to store in a drain. But that's something we're really proud of, is being able to come in and produce beer for people. It's kind of a jazz to go out and talk with people who are enjoying your beer.
Right. And to add on to that, one of the cool things about my part of the job is I do get to meet a lot of the people out there in the bars drinking our beer. And it's real exciting to see people consuming our beer that's just as excited about craft beer as we are. They're just as excited about telling their story as we are. And that's kind of the whole focus of Rabbit Hole, is let's go down this rabbit hole together. And it's fun watching people at the bars and the restaurants around the DFW Metroplex willing to go on that journey with us.
Yeah. So I understand you guys have a new member to your team.
We do.
So I wanted to hear a lot about that.
Well, one of the things when we first started, our business plan was we were going to try to run everything ourselves, just the three of us. We divvied up the job responsibilities, and one of the things that fell on to my plate was both sales and distribution. And I learned really, really quickly on that I just physically can't do both.
Yeah.
I can't make a sales call when I'm driving, down 35 or across 635 in traffic or whatever with a truck full of beer. And so we sat down and we talked about, what part do I need to give up and how do we need to give that up? It came across to us that Tait was currently looking for a job. I know he had a lot of experience with that. Tait and I have been friends for a long time. And so Matt, Tom, and I sat down and said, let's give him a shot and bring him in. And so that's taken a lot of the sales off of my plate. That's allowed me to do a lot of other things that need to be done around the brewery. And so we brought in Tait.
Awesome. Well, we definitely love Tait here at Beer Betties as well, so we're excited to see that. Well, thank you guys so much for having us in your brewery. This looks incredible. And you guys, if you get a chance, come out here. When are your tours? You guys are having tours now, right?
Yeah, Saturdays from 12 to 4.
Okay.
Every Saturday.
All right. Saturdays from 12 to 4, $10.
At the door. You get to take a pint glass home, and you
Ooh.
get three tastings. And if 3 is not enough, we do have the option of selling you another tasting at $3.50 a pint.
That's not bad. And they have an outside beer garden that they just made. It's beautiful. So make sure to come out here to Justin and try it out. And cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.